Chick-FeLaShe-O, where we pay for our dreams. Like, share, subscribe to the page. Tell your friends about the page. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about, should you wife up a streetwalker? Should you wife up a streetwalker or a former streetwalker or a woman who plays the streets? Now, here's the thing. You have to understand, it's very difficult to wife up a streetwalker, especially if she's on a higher tier than the other girls. Here's the thing. A good percentage of these women from these other countries, they want to be married. That's their goal. Whether she's a top streetwalker, whether she is a bottom streetwalker, the goal is to get married, because most of them have this thing. They want a husband, they want one man. I'm just going to go on record and say maybe about 90% of the women that does this don't really want to do it. They might get a little bit of pleasure, they might have some fun, but most of them want one man, or they want one rich man, I would say, because they want their kids to be taken care of. They don't want one for nothing, because they will actually just settle down with one man if they could, and they were taken care of. To see, most of the problem lies is a lot of men, what they do is they meet these girls and they try to make them trophy wives. They don't really want to take care of them. They still want to do whatever they want to do, but they don't really want a wife. They just want to bring them back to America to show off in front of their family. And it's usually the older guys. I'm not going to lie. It's usually the older men. The older men want trophy wives because, let's just be clear here. Most of them are ran down over the hill. They're like 55, 60 years old. And they can't really get no beautiful, drop dead gorgeous women in America. And the ones that they do try to holler in America, it's like they bring them back to America to basically slap their ex-wife or the other women in the face that they try to talk to. It's like, look what I got. It's like a new toy to them, So that's what I would say as far as the older men goes, because the older men that I notice, they use them as trophy wives, but they still want to be able to do their thing. They have them in the house. They want to lock them in the room, and you can't go nowhere, and you got to cook for me, and all this stuff. It's like a homemade slave in a way. That's not a good reason you want to wife up one of these women, because they take this stuff very serious. So if you want to wife them up, you put yourself in a position where, and it will take a couple of years. See, this is not an overnight thing. And I think a lot of men, they get this messed up. They go to these other countries and they meet a girl and they fall in love with her looks. They're very fascinated because she does some freaky stuff and she looks good. And it's like, I never had a freaky girl who does these things to me, and now I want to keep her forever. So they marry him. 6 months later, the girl now isn't doing what she used to do, and you want her to do what she usually do, and she doesn't do it. Or she gets bold and it's like, I don't really feel like cooking tonight. Or she had a fake face on, pretending to be someone she wasn't, just to get you to marry her, and now she basically is in America. You have to drag it out if that's what you really want to do. If you really want to marry a girl, you have to drag it out. And what I mean by that is, you have to deal with that same girl for months and years and years. So you might have to deal with the same girl for 3, 4, 5 years. And then you marry them. Because now you done met her family. You done been to her house. You with her every day. Y'all together. It's not something that you just sprung on her or she sprung on you. Now you know whether you can be with this person. You might even want to get a little apartment with this woman when you're in these countries, because now, I don't know, some guys are going to be like, well, I would never do that because what if she be having some guys over at the apartment? Well, look at it this way. If you get to know her kids and her family, you really think that these women are going to have other men around when you're not around, knowing that her kids call you daddy? And that's another thing that you have to understand. When you get into these positions with these women, usually the fathers are not around. You have to be the father to these kids. If that's something you want to do, then go for it. I would say go for it. But if you're not willing to put yourself in that situation, then don't go for it. If you're not willing to take on her responsibilities, then don't go for it. Don't try to wife them out, because it doesn't matter if she's the biggest street girl or if she's not a street girl. If you're not going to put your all into it, then why are you doing it? You have to put your all into it. And what I mean by that is not your all into it hastily or right away, because that's how you get messed up. You take your time, and then you will see if she's the right one, because what happens is if she sticks with you and you don't hear nothing about her, and every time you hit her up she answers, not to say that you have trust issues, but you know that's how you met her. If we're talking, that's how you meet in these street girls. Now, that's another conversation if she wasn't a street girl. But if she is a street girl and you met her, there's a possibility that you can change it, because a good portion of those street girls, they want to be helped. They want to be changed. They want to move on in life. So I will say that it's possible. It's possible that you can turn a street girl into a wife. It's very possible. And I think that if you follow the methods that I gave you, it's not 100% proof, but it's a very good chance. I would say a very, very, very good chance that you can come out on top if you drag it out and get to know her and you treat her like she's your real girlfriend. Eventually, she's going to fall in love with you, and she's not going to really start to deal with other guys. She's going to cut that off eventually. And that's one thing I will say. They will give up everything for you if you love them. If you love them. If you take care of them and you love them. Now understand, these women want to be taken care of. That's what you're supposed to do with your wife. Now, a lot of times, most men, they feel uncomfortable. They're really uncomfortable when someone says you have to take care of somebody. But when it's your wife, you're supposed to take care of her. And whatever she comes with, that's your wife. That's your future wife. Trust and believe. She'll stick with you and she'll ride for you. Now, if you're just doing half-ass and she find out, because those girls talk, and if she find out that you are dealing with other women on the side, she's going to still do what she do. And she's going to play it off like, oh yeah, we're together, and just wait until she get to America and then she's going to break up with you or whatever. You never know. So, it's possible. It's very possible. Chick-FeLaShe-O. Like, share, subscribe to the page. Tell your single men friend about the page, man. If he's going through something and he needs somebody to talk to, or if he wants to go to the pussy paradise and you don't have the way to tell him, and you want him to, what's the name? Just have him email me and I'll explain to him. I'll get him off that stoop, that emotional stoop that he's on, and he needs to figure out what he want to do. So if you are out there looking for love from a street girl, just understand, play the long game with her, and 9 times out of 10, you'll be fine. Chick-FeLaShe-O. Like, share, subscribe to the page. You know what it is.